Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel and welcome to another video where I'm going to do a little bit of rambling, but it's all in light-spirited because it's frustrating at times, but it's also kind of funny the many hoops you have to jump through just to keep your business going or keep games selling. And game development can be pretty hard. Coming up with a game idea, creating that game idea, actually finishing that project and game idea so that you can release that game idea onto a store or platform. That's very, very difficult. But let's say that's something you'll go through and come through and you'll get to know how to do it and all those things, and you release a couple of games. There is just another level of difficulty, and that's when laws and rules and regulations and tax companies and government agencies and everything else is starting to interfere with the rules and regulations surrounding games. So the last 4 weeks I've been waiting on a document from my government, and I had no idea this document existed, but for the Google Play Store I needed a document to sell my games in Ireland. Now, I don't sell a lot of games in Ireland, honestly. I'm not sure, I don't have all the stats, but it's not a huge number, it's not a huge country or a huge source of my income, but I still like to sell games in Ireland. So to keep being able and allowed to sell games in Ireland because of, I think, some sort of laws or tax changes between Europe and Ireland or whatever happened, I needed to fill in new documents that I never had. Pretty much just telling Ireland and Google in Ireland or whoever wants to read it that I'm a citizen of the Netherlands and have been here for quite some time now. So for that I needed a document and I had no idea what, so I had to Google that document. Came into the government website, and if you ever watched or looked at a government website, no matter which government, it's messy, it's terrible, it's crap. I'm pretty sure if you give me a couple of weeks time and a Raspberry Pi, I can do a much better job than those websites. But anyway, I had to navigate that website, find the document, request it, and then the government told me in an email there is a chance that it's going to take up to 8 weeks. If you have not provided the right information, you're not getting anything from us. Not even not getting anything from us, you just won't hear anything from us. And if you did it right, we'll send you that document within 8 weeks, depending on how busy it is. And from that point, I just had to wait. That means I couldn't do anything. It wasn't in my hands. I just had to wait and hope that somebody at the Dutch government understood what I needed for this and provide me with the document. Luckily, that document came in. I provided to Google. On first try, it was the wrong one, or so at least the automatic system said so. So I figured I'd just retry the complete form and fill in all the data and information and then try it again. It passed within 30 minutes, I think. So that one was solved. Now there's a lot more of these examples coming after the intro. And if you think this is just about mobile, you're wrong. I'm also going to talk about Steam in a minute. And right now, a lot of developers, you can just look on Twitter, probably on Reddit, whatever, search for it. The App Store has a new thing. As a developer, you have to say if you're a trader or no trader. I hope my accent doesn't really turn that into traitor or no, a trader. So if you're actually making a living from games or making enough money to be substantial from games, I think that's it. It's all a bit vague on what the actual rule is here. That's the problem. But if you are, and most of us will be, you'll have to fill in an address and phone number. Apple already knows these things from me because I have them on the App Store. Obviously, if you register and sign up, you have these things already. But now you have to enter them so that everybody on the App Store or browsing the App Store, looking at your game, will be able to contact you. Yeah, the panic in my eyes is real. This means that any weirdo, and not just the weirdo in the back on this video, but the weirdo everywhere on the planet, at every time zone, will be able to call me up and ask whatever, talk about whatever, I guess. I'm not a Nintendo hotline, and yes, kids, we had a Nintendo hotline in the 80s and the 90s. You could call them for cheat codes or help or how do I get past level 1-1 of Mario. Things like that. It existed way before the internet, but I'm not gonna do that for Orangepixel games. Honestly, I don't want anybody calling me, and really honestly, I don't even want family and friends calling me, and most of them have gotten that message, although my wife keeps calling me every now and then, but I guess that's in another contract with another rules and regulations. Point is, I don't want people calling me. So my plan for this right now is get a prepaid burner phone, I guess, and submit that phone number, and it will be used until I'm processed and approved by Apple, and then it will probably be offline for eternity, I think. I'm not gonna enter my own phone number because there's time zone differences. There is a lot of people complaining about the most silly things. I have an email for that. Send your complaint to my email inbox. It has a nice trash can icon that archives everything, so I'll probably don't get to it, but to be fair, I always answer actual serious questions through the email, and that has been working fine for so many years. Now this is all based on a new law from Europe, so it's actually for the European part. If you don't sell games in Europe, you don't have to worry about this, but still it's going to be a global thing. And the beauty of selling games is that you can do it in a global thing. It's still a little of uncertainty here and there about the law and what it requires, and also we are not the one selling the game. Apple is the one reselling the game. It's like if you have a web shop and you sell products, you don't want the telephone numbers from all the manufacturers of those products on your website. Your customers will be contacting you as the web shop, as the reseller. And in this case, I believe Apple is that person and not every developer on their own. So either Apple is playing at something towards laws in Europe. They have a lot of lawsuits going left and right about things, so as well in Europe. So maybe that's just their thing of sticking it to, well, I guess you're sticking to all the developers and hope that we all complain about it and that something will change, which it won't, because the government agencies and Europe law, and they have no clue what's going on. They don't know about all this. But anyway, it's going to be difficult for game developers. That's really the point. It's a couple of hoops I have to jump through, and it's not, I mean, there are a lot of options. You can get weird online services to forward calls and handle calls and things like that. There are many solutions. It's not about the solutions. It's about having these problems thrown on your plate. I now have to find a solution and figure out what is the problem, what do I have to do, why am I doing it. And of course this could also happen on Google Play Store if they decide to go the same way, and then it could also happen on Steam. It's just all these hoops that you have to jump through can be annoying. So those are two things from mobile platforms. Now let's talk about Steam, because there's another thing there going, and this isn't for everybody, but I know it's for at least for Dutch companies, and I think more most non-US based companies. Every time you have to enter a form for your tax returns and all those things. So we have a tax treaty between Netherlands and the US, which means I don't pay income tax in the US, but it will somehow transfer to the Netherlands. Else I would be paying 30% to Steam, 30% to the US government, 30% to the Netherlands, and that leaves very little for me, although it wouldn't work exactly like that, but you get the point. I only pay taxes once, preferably none, but okay, once. For that I need to enter a form. Now the thing is that I gathered this from other developers. I haven't run into it just yet because my form hasn't been renewed yet. Apparently Steam now autofills that form using the information on your Steam account, which is causing problems because it has to tie into your official company name or bank account. And that's in many cases just not the same on either of these pages. Not on the Steam account name, not as an official registered company name, doesn't have to be the bank account name. So there are some issues there that a lot of developers have been running into it. I haven't run into it because my form isn't up for renewal. It's coming up probably pretty soon. And then I'll be running into it. Right now, my hope is that enough developers in Europe are running into this issue and will already complain about it to Valve so that they will not auto-fill in that form. And so I can just enter the name that I need to be on that form myself and not have to have it based on either my Steam account name, which is not my personal name, obviously, or the official Orangepixel bank account name, which is also different from my Orangepixel Steam account name for various reasons. That I want to keep those things as separated as much as possible. So that's another issue that I'm walking into this year. And then there's another thing on Google Play. We have to enter new information there. I think again it has to do with all the laws changing about privacy and all those things. I have to enter a DUNS number. And for some countries this is fairly normal. I think it's an English company that originally originated this, and I think it's used a lot in America. Apple Store also has it a lot for App Store developers. I never got it to work for the App Store. Apparently now I have to get it to work for the Google Play Store. Google Play Shop, Google Play, whatever you want to call it. I have to get it working, which means I now have to get that DUNS number. Google said, hey, this is free, you can register it there and there. I looked up that company. It points me towards a Dutch company that handles it for the Netherlands. And it's not free at that Dutch company because we are Dutch and we like to make money off everything. So I have to pay, it's not a huge amount, but I have to pay some amount to get that DUNS number. Hope it's all done correctly and properly, and that I can then actually submit it to Google so I can keep selling my Android games. Because if any of these things fail, I have a serious problem making money on all these stores. Now, all in all, I'm gonna get it all sorted because sadly it's just part of doing business. You have to get these things up and running and figure them out, and then I'll get it done. But it does distract from all the stuff I like to do and love to do, and that's developing games. So I'm gonna spend a couple of hours this week fixing the App Store stuff, fixing the DUNS number. Or does the NS stand for number? I'm gonna fix it all, hopefully this week. So that's a lot of stuff that just happened to bounce on my plate in recent weeks. Figured I'd do a fun video about it because I didn't even think about it after all these years that these things still happen. So most developers getting into it probably don't expect these as well. Just one tip, don't stress over it, don't worry about it. You're probably so small that none of these things really affect you or anybody really cares about you. The only thing that I think is worrying is having your phone number, your real phone number, on something like the App Store, because there's just a lot of weirdos on the internet, so try to avoid that one. Everything else it's fixable, it's manageable. Just take it one step at a time. Let me know if you have other examples of weird things like this, because I know there's a lot more out there and it varies on which country you live in and all those things and the laws and stuff. So if you have fun examples, drop them in the comments below and I'll see you next week. All right, bye.